Welcome to the Ed Answer Key, the podcast where in the time it takes to complete hall duty and attendance, we embark on an educational adventure for both teachers and families. So whether you're a seasoned educator or a family navigating the school system, buckle up for the Ed Answer Key.
Okay, so this one is emotions.
Can we cover apathy, perhaps, as an emotion?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, isn't that...
No, that's really all I have to say.
Apathy is
Not your apathy.
the apathy
the
that
children.
I face with
Yes.
the
That's
the
what I was
students.
figuring when I thought of that.
I feel like every student I've ever had in 25 years is capable of growing as a reader and a writer, but they have to want it.
Mm-hmm. Intrinsic motivation.
There has to be something where they see that
Totally.
there's value in this, and they have to do their part as well, because I can't.
You can't care more.
I can't
than
do
they
it all by myself.
Right.
I live by the statement. Education without the heart is no education at all, basically. Like if you don't educate, if you don't have that relationship, or they don't want to grow with you. Mm-hmm. And it's like you won't have that with every teacher. It's not your job to have it all 25 years of your student.
Sure.
But I believe relationship is what impacts the growth of what people want to do.
Right. I know. It's kind of like a challenge that you want all the time.
You know, with me, it was always, I went into this saying, I want to impact black girls. And you know who I impact the most? Little white girls.
Yeah.
Not even my own little girls that look like me. It was little white girls that gravitate to me and said, I impact their life. And I went into it thinking I will only relate to little black girls, and come to find out that
It wasn't that funny how that works.
We're moving on to intervention programs for ADHD.
What about ADHD
it is very
teachers?
overdiagnosed.
Think so?
Oh, yeah. PTSD and ADHD look exactly the same. And when you work at a 90% free and reduced lunch,
Trauma.
majority of those kids have trauma that presents as ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put things in place, you have to put things in place to address PTSD or ODD, like all of these things that really aren't about, it's not I don't want to focus, is I legitimately cannot focus. Yeah. A lot of people think a lot of it is just I'm tuned out.
Right.
My brain is inside of my brain.
Engaged.
I am worried. I am heightened. I don't like my back to the door. I think the interventions have to be put in place is individualized based on the actual diagnosis of what this stems from.
The reasoning.
Which is surprising to me because I feel like when I was a student in school, nobody got diagnosed with anything.
Right.
And like you find a lot of adults now going back like, I just had ADHD this whole time.
Right.
Like
I have several friends who are like, well, yeah.
But
there's
now
so many
we're
aspects of it.
overdiagnosing.
Right.
So it's almost like we were too far this
easy
way
thing.
and now we're going over on this side.
True.
So what are these interventions, and do they usually work?
Well, yeah. I mean, you think about
a special seat is a lot
well,
of times.
yeah, like if you think about classroom intervention, like there's very few kids who have the true like focus issue where they're like the same. It's that trauma response to certain situations or certain people. I feel like they are more apt, the students diagnosed with ADHD, because their impulsivity tends to be harder to control and manage. So if they don't have like a way to do that or a way to communicate with a trusted adult, then they're just going to fly off. They're not going to have the right response to certain individuals. So I feel like if they're not removed or like to take some sort of break or to feel like they can say something in the moment, then they're not going to have the same experience in the classroom.
That's why when I go into these IEP and 504 meetings and they're just blanket meetings, everybody gets the same accommodations.
Everybody gets everything. Yeah.
Oh, we're going to do a small group, extended break, special seat, and maybe extended time on homework. I don't need that. You're not going to put me in a seat where I can't face the door. You're not, because I'm never going to focus on you because I'm be turned around making sure nobody comes through that door and shoots me in my back. Like that's because of the trauma I went through growing up and where I grew up. So it's like you have to individualize that. You can't have a blanket IEP or 504 accommodation sitting there just because I have the label. You'll have TORs rewrite them before the family even gets there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we do these all the time. ADHD. Oh, we'll be in and out. Here, matter of fact, I'll just send it to you in email, and you say you came to this meeting, and here's the blanket accommodations.
And I think that's because there's just so much on everybody's plate. We're trying to find a streamlined way to make this easier. Like
Sad part is you're working double hard because you put that little fake IEP or 504 in place, but
won't
now
do
you're having to
anything.
have all these meetings with families. Oh, call all the teachers together. We want to see what you were all seeing in the class. Oh, let's get all the administration together. Oh, let's bring the counselor in. Oh, let's have another meeting with the parents. Oh, Like we're
So
working
true.
backwards
So
when
true.
you could have at that one IEP meeting spend another extra 30 minutes to really dive in and see what's the true thing this kiddo needs.
So again, it's about the relationships.
Well, and one of my favorite things in those meetings is to ask students in those meetings, ask them on the spot. By 7th grade, they're participating in those meetings. And you ask them, what do you need? What a loaded question. I mean, and they have to say it in front of their entire team. Sometimes I'll ask them ahead of time and tell them it's coming. They have to talk about their future plans, but then they also have to talk about what actually helps you, what legitimately throughout your day is something you want to have listed legally in this document. And I just sit there and type. And it's one of my favorite things to do. Because kids and parents, I mean, I love that your parents say that this is what we need, but they're not here.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I need you to say it.
Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of the Ed Answer Key. Your support means the world to us. Be sure to stay in the loop about upcoming topics by downloading our free podcast companion at www.edanswerkey.com. So until next time, class dismissed.